if there's one thing that 18 years of homeschooling has shown me, that is choosing the right resources for our children can be an absolute minefield. In fact, not can be, it is an absolute minefield. There are so many wonderful resources and curriculum out there on the market today. It just gets harder and harder and harder for us as parents to choose and know which is going to be the best one for my kids. And the other biggest thing that I've learned over these past 18 years is when I look at my bookshelves and I see all the wonderful resources that we loved and we used diligently throughout the years, next to them are also a pile of resources that we just didn't either see the light of day, we used a couple of times and they didn't fit well with us, and they just didn't work in our home. But the thing that I've realized about that is just because a resource has either worked or not worked here for us does not in any way mean that it will or won't work for you. And that is the conundrum and potentially the beauty of choosing homeschool resources, because we all jump onto our local community homeschool groups and we say, I've got a kid in grade 3, please share with me the best resources. When in fact, it's actually probably not the best question to be asking, because what is best? What is best for Mary? What is best for Jim? What is best for Joe? Are potentially all going to be three very different things. I have, I guess, developed over my 18 years just a few simple steps that help me when I'm looking at resources, and I thought that I would share them briefly with you today. The first one is to know yourself. Know what you're doing. Know why you're doing what you're doing. Why are you homeschooling? What do you see at the end of your homeschooling years? How do you want your days and weeks and months to look and feel? Really consider that in your own family, because that will lead a lot into the types of resources that you choose. Once you understand your why and have a really solid understanding around that, then you can look more closely at things like learning styles and also homeschooling styles. I won't get into that today, that's a whole other video, but you want to look a little bit more closely at what are the sorts of things your children enjoy doing? What are the sorts of things that you enjoy doing? A big thing I've found over all my years of homeschooling is often we mums can neglect ourselves and our preferred teaching style and our interests when we are such an integral part of homeschooling. It's all well and good to get everything that's wonderful for our children. For example, you might choose a program that's filled with arts and crafts and cooking and drawing and painting and all the wonderful messy things, and yet that is your absolute worst nightmare. So of course, you want to develop that in your child, but possibly you can choose a program that maybe just has a little bit less of those elements in it, so that your mama heart isn't screaming, oh my goodness, I've got to plan, prepare and clean all of this up at the end of it. So it is about balance. It's looking at what your children enjoy and what sorts of learning styles they have, but also considering yourself in this process. So the other thing that I would recommend is obviously tap into trusted communities. When I say trusted communities, I am talking about long-standing homeschooling communities. Try not to jump onto the latest Facebook group that's just popped up yesterday. You want to get into communities where there are home educating parents that have been doing this for many years. They've seen it all, they've been there, they've used it, and if they haven't used it, they've probably got friends that have used the particular product that you're looking for. So seek out those trusted communities. Lean on the people who have walked this path before you. Look at websites that genuinely have homeschoolers' best interests at heart. Blogs, other YouTube channels, they are all out there. You just need to seek them out. Then it comes down to actually evaluating particular resources. And so what I have done is, once I've worked all of that out, as in my teaching style, the sorts of things that I want my children to be doing with the resource, the things that I know that they will and won't enjoy doing, I create a personal checklist so that when I'm looking at a particular curriculum product, does it meet these requirements that I have? I also have I do not want these things in it. So it's important to sit down and consider what you do and don't want from a resource, and have a checklist to help you work your way through that. I would also say, start small. Don't think, okay, day one of homeschool is about to start. I've got maths, English, science, geography, history, typing, technology, the arts, all of these things that I need to cover. I need to find a resource for all of them. No, you do not need to find a resource for all of them. Start small, find trials of products wherever you can. If you have a network already, an in real life network, see if you can borrow some resources for your first term. That way you can actually get a feel for how they're going to work. I will always, and any long-term homeschooler will always recommend, don't buy a whole year's program in anything that you do, because quite often you'll find that as you get into it, there are many things about it that may not work for you, and you've then shelled out all of that money for a whole year and you're kind of stuck with it. So set yourself a checklist to evaluate each individual resource, but just start small. Maybe pick a fun topic that all of your kids would like to learn about, find some resources for that, and potentially you might want to do some mathematics and some of the English language arts subject. Just start with those and enjoy the beginning stages of your homeschooling journey. And so once you've worked through all of that, you can create yourself a template or a checklist of sorts that you can then go forth and use into the years that follow. And as you get more experience at doing this, it will get easier. I understand completely the overwhelm that happens in those first couple of years of homeschooling. But let's not forget, and for those of you who have homeschooled for, let's say, 5 years or longer, you will join me in nodding in agreement that just as you think you've got your plans down pat and you know how to pick the right resources, your kids are suddenly 5 years older, they're at a different level, they have different interests, even their learning styles can change throughout that period of time. So this is something, as homeschooling parents, we do need to be on top of basically all the time throughout our journey. Now, if this has been helpful and you want to dive a little bit deeper, I do recommend that you jump on to homeschoolresourcefinder.com and download my ebook that I've put together, where I share all of this and so much more for you to glean information from. I have also created templates and checklists so you don't have to do it yourself. And the best thing is, this is completely free. It is available at homeschoolresourcefinder.com inside our free members library. So jump over there. I will pop a link in the description box below where you can download it yourself, and you will also get access to the other free resources inside our member library as well. If this has been helpful, please let me know in the comments. If you'd like to see anything more like this video as well, please let me know down below. Until next time, happy homeschooling, friends. Bye.